Welcome, Studio 5 on my end, which proves fighting, easier outside the cage, moving easier outside the workload. I paid people, I just watched it because of my surgically repaired hand. I had no choice. Discussion my girlfriend had, which means it's time for Verbal Tap, the show that proves it. I am your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raph Esparza. Raph, how are you doing in still Studio 1 LA?
Studio 1 doing very well. I feel like this has now turned into like a UFC broadcast on Fox Sports 1 where they're just like, and now we're going over to Raph in LA. Hey, Kev, I'm doing great in Los Angeles. The sky is crazy, at least in my part. But man, what a weird world. How are you doing back in the studio?
Can we please do this every time one of us changes? Because that would be great. Let's check in with the weather in Los Angeles, where Raph Esparza is reporting live from indoors. Raph. We don't do...
Birds, chilly. I'm in the middle of a tornado now. Ooh. I just want to say this. I just saw this right now, and I need to breaking news this.
Yeah.
My dad is at Dancing with the Stars, and I'm just seeing a photo of him on my Facebook. Now, my dad doesn't know how to use Facebook a ton, so this is pretty remarkable to see him using the technology in such a way. So, good old man. Good for him.
Dad, you posted a picture to Facebook. Was that not rap? I didn't. It's just Rod Swanson's it. I enjoy that that's got to be kind of a fun live taping, right? Especially they're so hungry.
Here's my one issue with Dancing with the Stars and older individuals. I'm not saying all old people, but mind you, I'm about to talk about my dad. Okay. When folks who are maybe a little bit older who watch Dancing with the Stars, the statistics prove it, don't come at me. They sometimes get really surprised that the younger generation is not watching it. So my favorite reaction from some of my family members and friends who are older is when they turn to you and they go, "You're not watching Dancing with the Stars?" As if it's a crime. And it's very hard to explain to them, you're watching a show for old people. So you try not to use that language. You try to get around it. You try to be like, well, no, I don't really watch it.
Not since 98.
Yeah, sometimes they'll go away. But then, you'll just try and come up with like really random assortment things to discuss that are kind of tangential. So you'll be like, Kim Kardashian, am I right? And you just take a shot in the dark. And you're like, yeah, she was on that season. She was horrible. And you go, yep, perfect, cool, discussion over, we did it. But yes, there is a certain element of people who get really shocked. It also happens with America's Got Talent and The Voice. It used to be American Idol, but there are those people who get really angry, who they will not allow you to not watch it. And I'm like, I'm good.
Oh, it's a singing show. Yeah, got it. Karaoke is awesome. Everybody's in. Who doesn't love karaoke? It's a singing show. It's like, yeah, it's great.
Listen, I love me some good music. I love me some good dancing. I'm good, but nope.
I also think Mr. Esparza should maybe teach him a lesson or two. You never know. I don't know what stage. If they're at the early stages, he might have some moves on some people.
I don't want to put this out there and put him on blast, but he is my dad, so I mean, what am I gonna do? My old man's been taking some salsa lessons.
Hey.
So that was one of the requests he had at my wedding, which was, son, I don't care what happens, but there better be some fucking salsa. And I was like, Dad, fine. Give him a salsa song.
Fine. Rap, not much on the docket tonight. We're going to talk UFC. We're going to find out who won over-under. We're going to talk Dimitri J's unbelievable finish.
Dimitri J sounds kind of like sneakers that he was promised by Reebok, but that they're never going to give to him.
Yeah, the Dimitri J's.
Yeah, you got them new Dimitri J's?
Yeah, or his DJ name in general, the Dimitri J's.
Dimitri J's.
Yeah, I want to name a bar Dimitri J's. You know what? Now I want it back. Keeping Dimitri J's. Everybody, forget you heard it. I'm deep in on following the Danaher updates about where he's training to try and get some insights on whether or not we're going to see a heel hook out of GSP. I don't think we are, but
Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, Kev, I have breaking news. We actually, I don't know if you know this, but there was a big press conference between Michael Bisping and GSP, and I'm getting the button flashed on my side.
Oh, perfect. Well, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Let's just do a quick update on how the champs fight is going. I'm going to start with the man who used to hold the belt, GSP, host of Dinosaur Hour, something about dinosaurs. GSP, are you going to heel hook Michael Bisping whenever you two fight?
Ole, 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 ole. GSP. Don't sing over GSP. Very important.
I was trying to show camaraderie.
If I wanted to hear someone who is loudmouth white guy who is semi-tall, I would attend my own press conference. Yes, no?
Yes, and no. That's fair.
I have news. GSP has eyes and ears everywhere. You have seen John Danaher, but I have seen something else, Kevin.
The secrets of the John Danaher Bible. I've heard he keeps in a tattooed satchel underneath his back.
Well, no. I will tell you this, Phillips, Kevin. There was Michael Bisping. He went to go train with the Temporal.
The what?
Do you know the Temporal?
No. The what?
Okay, I will. Let me spell it out for you. It is 10 B. The numerical sign 4, and then L.
Oh, you went.
He's with
trained
a gang called
Planet.
Temfor. What is that? What are you telling GSP? Is there is there
planet.
Another planet? Did someone tell me? No.
No. I'm not speaking geologically. I'm saying that's the name of the people you train with.
Oh, yeah. He is getting big training, like when you go to Big Bear. And then you get altitude training. Very smart of Michael Bisping, but GSP has already done that twice.
Okay. Well, you feeling good?
Michael Bisping, he tried to look at me, and he was like, hey, I'm going to push you. And I was like, no one pushes GSP. So I shove him back. And I had a witty one-liner. Did you see what I said?
No, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, of course. All right. I practiced very hard for this one, but Bisping was looking at me with his one good eye, if you know what I'm saying. But he's drunk. Okay, I said that at least 5 times as well. But here is my one-liner I had. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
You are a comedian, yes, no?
Sure.
Okay. So I want you to tell me how funny this one is. GSP, the comedian. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's nothing more sure. Water is wet, fire burns, and I'm going to beat Michael Bisping.
Well, a burning honor as always. I'm actually gonna thank you for your time tonight and pitch to current title holder, European smugger, and three-piece jacket vest wearer as well, Michael Bisping. How are you doing, Sir Bisping?
Well, nobody ever told me that I was going to be on this thing. I can barely see. I was going to be on, the hard part is, look at him. He's not even that good. Am I right?
You are not right. Are you sober? Do you know who you're talking to right now?
I'm as sober as you can, a British guy could be, Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, champ Michael Bisping, former champ.
Hey, and let me just say this real quick. He's stupid, he's doomed, and
couldn't agree more. That's gonna be the headline.
You see what I have to deal with here?
I do.
This
I'm
guy,
feeling
he
more
thinks
or
he
less-
sells fights. It's very sad. GSP has to carry all the weight just by his witticisms. You are drunk over there.
his
Look at you.
shortcoming witticisms.
Michael Bisping, you degenerate. I will punch kick you in the face. I told him straight to his eye. I said, Michael Bisping, I am going to beat you. I am going to submit you. Then I'm going to pick you back up and I'm going to punch you. And yes, that will be against the rules, but GSP makes the rules and will finish you however GSP feels. GSP!
And you can find the fight when, Michael Bisping?
I don't really know. It's just over there. It's going to be one of those dates, like in November, you know?
Yes, I do actually know some dates that are like in November. So I'll look forward to those. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bisping and
Hey, go fuck yourself very nicely.
thank you. And Georges St. Pierre. The treat was ours, as always.
Ole, 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 ole. GSP. MVP.
And I won't dare sing along so as not to upset the guests. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Bringing back Rafa Esparza as we transition to some UFC coverage.
Yep.
This is all brought to you by our lovely friends, and I can't stress this enough. You have to go visit kosportsgear.com. They will bring you the best keys. They will bring you the top-notchest of the Your Training Mates Will Notice singlets. And you need to let us know how that goes. Raph, have you used the singlet yet to train?
I have not.
Pansy.
I have it in my possession. Well, first of all,
pansy.
okay. Have you used it to train, Kevin?
I haven't, but only because I'm injured. The
Convenient
second
excuse, Kevin.
Friday, I am back.
Second Friday, you're back.
Well, the first feels excessive.
The first feels a little showy, like you're just gonna show. Because here's the thing: Kevin's gonna show up in his singlet, and everybody's gonna be like,
What?
"You're not a wrestler, dude."
It's like, I know. Let's fight. And I
Well,
think that'll work. But
okay.
kosportsgear.com. Check it out. I'll ridicule
Okay.
Raph later.
Please do.
Back by semi-popular demand. There was like 4 people that were like, that guy wasn't bad. We're like, which guy were you talking about? Jams? We're like, maybe. So I'd say that's confirmation. We brought back James Partridge.
Is there 4 normal users?
Well, it's actually double the normal amount, which is why we thought we should bring you back. There were 2
James,
of them this week.
That's
there were
some
4.
lofty talk for somebody who was like telling me earlier in the week, all my friends loved it. And I was like, oh, you're adorable. Look at you.
Sir,
you have
I'll
like
have
3
you know-
fans.
146 people from Tokyo downloaded that podcast, so you can shut up about.
Those are my friends.
There was we love you,
So-
Tokyo. We are,
Love you, Tokyo.
we love you, Tokyo.
I have to ask this. James, what was one of the funniest reactions you got from one of your friends? Because, we get protected. Everybody knows, like, we have our fans who tell us things, but you have your inner circle who you're like, I was on the show. What did they say back to you?
I don't know if any of them were funny. My friends aren't that funny, but they were, well, everybody thought it was cool that I gave them shout outs. But that's about it. My friends aren't that funny. I'm the funny one. Like, we always make fun of each other, and they're not that good at it.
I hope they're not listening. There's
hope
actually.
they are.
Hold on.
I hope
Excuse me.
they are.
I hope you are, and you're going to comment and explain to us why. They're all eye rolling right now. Everyone, your comment, not mine. They're loving this interjection because I want to hear your friends be like, "Yeah, Jams is the funny one. It's just that you're probably the best at heel hooks. I don't mean to tell you this to your face. You might just be
there. Kev, this is a true thing that we need to discuss. A lot of people who like lead classes, when they do very good techniques, you ever notice in class when they laugh a little too hard? They're just like at the instructors, and it's mostly because the instructor has the power to end their life. Yeah. They're not really funny.
I'm that
so
guy,
when people tell me, they're like,
I'm the one doing
you gotta meet this instructor. He's so funny. And I'm like, is he jiu-jitsu funny? Because that's not the same.
Jason Bircher of KCBJJ, boring as fuck as a human being, but because he's a savage, everyone laughs like crazy.
He's hilarious. Growing up, my friends used to make fun of me for random reasons, and if it was really funny and it hurt my feelings, I would punch him in the arm. And eventually, they told me "Hey, you gotta stop doing that. We're not cool with you." They sat me down one day, a little intervention, told me to stop hitting him in the arm, and ever since then, I've been the funny one. I don't know what it is. I stopped punching him, but I'm the funny one.
Well, if that story wasn't evidence enough of why you're the funny one in your local neighborhood, I don't know what will convince you people. Hey, speaking of funny and failed mechanisms, this is what I wanted to do all last week. And I hope you enjoy it, because I had this idea that I should have done this last week, and I mentioned it as much. But I felt like every time I wanted to say your name, I should have just pressed a sound clip that sounded like... Now, the problem with that is I needed that to be way more accessible, because Michael Jackson says it about 900 times in the song Jam. But I just didn't have enough, There we go. All right, I'm done.
Those of you that
you gotta turn that way up.
Those of you at home that know Raph know he was distracted during the last interview, as he would be if the guest's name was Thriller. He wouldn't be able to have a conversation with that human being.
No, Kevin. If you put on your Facebook that your name was Thriller, but your name was Brian, we're apt to all of this bullshit that I'm supposed to give you.
Like Theodore.
However, now, let's ask this. Now, sir, did you watch the UFC over the weekend?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, here and there.
Did you watch a little bit of it? You weren't more invested?
I gotta cover my ends, I'm at a deal going. This is my first degenerate situation.
Your first degenerate situation? Jesus. All right. Well, look, let's decipher that all that much. So you didn't watch the whole card is what I'm ascertaining here now.
I think I missed a couple of the beginning ones, slept through some boring ones, and I was awake for the big moments.
How convenient that works. Okay. So let's talk about the biggest moment there is, because honestly, everything else pales in comparison to me. The fact that this card changed throughout the week, hilarious. The fact that Derek Lewis was like, "Ooh, girl, my back. I can't." Hilarious. But the biggest thing was, let's talk about Demetrius Johnson's armbar, because we are jiu-jitsu folk. Now, Jams, can you describe what it is without using the word suplex?
Same size, right? By the way, Jams, when you're fasting, or just
yeah. Yeah, I made it down to 139 just the other day, and then I really wanted to eat. And to be completely honest with you guys, Grappling Industries canceled their OKC tournament this weekend, so I ate. And I went right up to 156. And I'm already back down to 150. I'm going to work my way back down. But I ate so much. Put on about 20 pounds quick.
You put on 20 pounds?
What did we eat?
No, not 20.
Before we get
I'm
into
bad with
Demetrius
numbers.
Johnson, I want to hear a little bit about what was on the menu.
Yeah, back to Demetrius Johnson. I'm totally lost. He didn't suplex him, but I don't know. You want me to use the Asian terms?
Hey, listen, you use whatever terms you want, but if you're going to preface them as Asian terms, I have to tell our audience back in Tokyo that they might want to cover and skip ahead 5 minutes.
Say, did we not mention we have an international audience? He's now going ahead.
No,
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
We had
I
an
didn't
Asian
know.
audience until this episode.
I did not know Asian was a racist term. I'm sorry. I don't know what the term would be, and I don't even remember how he got to the back. But he was behind the guy, and he had a strong, tight waist. He went to elevate him, to slam him. I'm not using the word suplex. And whenever he was in midair, he switched from the waist to, I don't know if I would say, just a hook on the arm. And threw his legs around the body and the head, executed a beautiful arm bar. I'm not going to lie, I saw at least 10 people trying it today at Omar's. I mean, it was a big hit. Yeah, I mean, it was Omar's fault. He taught some duck unders, and then on the back, he was like, if you guys want to try it, go ahead and try it. It was pretty cool.
All right, did you try it, counselor? Clear. Do not lie. You are under oath. Did you?
I had a teammate ask me if we could teach it, and I said no. I said no. You guys want to do it? Come in at 6 before class, and we'll do it. But I'm not teaching that to class. I'm not doing
so, a follow-up question: why do you hate fun?
So yeah, the funny guy. They're like, hey, we gotta rename Jams to the shits on everyone's fun guy.
Wait, hold on, Kevin.
Let me
hold on, it's all there. There we go. Yeah.
I think it would be great to learn for the really advanced guys, but for everybody else, I don't want to waste their time. They don't want me wasting their time, you know.
Bullshit. I can't do that.
I'm just saying. So why would I waste your time
half
with
guard
it?
pass?
Why would you waste my time with it? Listen, James, if we got into the why would anybody waste their time teaching me a move, then we'd have a really long conversation about how shitty my jiu-jitsu is. But I really want to impress something upon this, which is Kevin and I have been the same weight at certain points during our jiu-jitsu tenure. Now, as a result of that, I know Demetrius and this other small dude were able to just, like, pick each other up with no problem. I, in no circumstances, see myself ever being able to lift Kevin up with the velocity that I need to hit that amazing armbar. Kevin, do you concur with this?
I mean, to get my legs flying that far up, you and my chiropractor would have to join forces.
So safety-wise, I shouldn't even be teaching it, you know?
Perfect.
But I told him, he wants to learn it, so I'm like, hey, come in at 6. Like, class is at 7, but sometimes we come in at 5, sometimes we come in at 6, and we'll just start training before class, and there's no reason we can't do it then.
I want to be super clear. I would not be this lippy if I was in your class. This is a courtesy of the podcast that I want to...
It's 50-50 for me, I'm not going to lie.
Ref's not sure. Yeah, there was a time Ref and I were training. I don't remember even which gym it was during, like a haze of gyms, that they did walking on your hands as a warm-up, and it was like, under no circumstances am I walking on my hands. That's right. That's where I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Yeah, they actually do that a lot, and a lot of different 10th Planet gyms. They do a lot of walking on the hands. I got my guys every now and then working on cartwheels, or I used to have my guys working on cartwheels. But I figure, like, I'll just use that time to have you guys doing jiu-jitsu warm-ups instead of, like, any other warm-up. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. I see it being applied very well. I just know.
For sure.
I get it, especially for the kiddos. They're awesome, so pliable.
For sure. Scenarios do I ever see myself being able to do most of those things. Now, it's not that I don't try. It's just that I'll look at it and I go, oh, they have a beautiful cartwheel pass. How did they do that? All right, I think I'll do the same.
Is there a shoulder tendonitis adjustment that someone could show me over on aisle older? That would be fantastic.
But I will say, I started 10th Planet, and I will never forget the first day they looked at me and they said, all right, now do cartwheels down the line. And I was like, what? I didn't even do cartwheels when I was a kid, bro. No, it's not happening.
I love it.
Yeah, every now and then I'll have somebody in class and they would just be like, I'm not gonna do that. I have bad shoulders. I'm like, hey man, whatever you can do. I'm always just super nice to people. I don't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah, there you go.
I will say,
I'm like, I know you can do a fucking cartwheel, but I'm not gonna make you do it. Like,
well, to be fair, and I have to espouse this for the bigger guys. It's not to say that bigger guys can't. It's just there is a bigger guy look when you go, all right, everybody, cartwils. And they kind of get that look like, why are you doing this to me? I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
It's Jim Belushi and Chris Farley. That's it, dude.
I've seen some beautiful big guys do some beautiful cartwheels.
Yeah, no, it can happen. The dream can happen. I will tell you, though, for most big guys, and again, I don't know why I'm taking like their perspective because I'm jiu-jitsu fat, but I'm not like the biggest representative of them, but I'd like to speak their truth. I just feel like they look when everybody goes, all right, cartwheels, and they go, all right, no. So that's part of it. But I will say, Kev, and I don't know that I ever have mentioned this fully, but when I went to go at 10th Planet warm-ups, and it was right in front of Eddie, and I definitely was doing the warm-ups, and I swear to God, I was like, I'm going to hit this cartwheel. I'm going to hit this. Nope, abort. I'm falling straight on my face. Happened right in front of Eddie Bravo, so...
Ouch.
Oh, yeah. He knew. He's like, in his head, he's just thinking to himself, he's like...
He was aware.
He just looked over at me and he's like, I know that, like, it's hard for you, and that's fine, but, like, you can try, and the thing is, everybody, no, come here. I want to, like, we got to break this down, everybody. So there was a 40-minute discussion on why I couldn't do a cartwheel. Anyway, that's not my problem. My problem is... I can't get enough of that armbar. I feel like we need to appreciate it as jiu-jitsu grapplers. But Kevin, my question to you, is he the greatest of all time? Question mark.
Damn, maybe. He is so good. No one in they can't beat him. They just can't beat him. And that was fucking stunning. That was unbelievable what he did. The way it was a real middle finger to the Dans, I thought too, and I loved it. He might as well have tattooed "Fuck you, Dane" on Ray Borg's chest as he took his arm from 6 to midnight, if to use a covering up an erection term that was penned perfectly and forgetting Sarah Marshall. Demetrius Johnson he's got to be on the list of the greatest fighters of all time now, especially the defense. I like the style points. I dug it. I want him to like call his shot. I don't know. Raph, name a better fighter.
I mean, I can name more exciting fighters, and that's the hard part. That was an exciting finish. But we've had to go through a lot of decisions to get to this point where he has now decided very late in the 5th round to be like, fuck it, I'll finish this guy by submission. So now I'll go over to you, James.
So it's a time investment. I get it. Okay. Yeah, it's tedious. Yeah.
You know what Demetrius Johnson's like? Demetrius Johnson is like when they explain interest to you in banks. And you go, well, why can't I have the interest now? And they go, no. You will get your interest in 2 to 5 years. No, but I want my money now. No. It's all about patience. Just leave it in the bank. That sounds stupid. All right, fine. Return on investment. James, let me ask this. Do you believe he's the greatest of all time?
I think so. And I also have a question for your listeners. Is he still a white belt? I heard that his professor Matt Hume was saying that he's almost ready for his blue belt, but that might have just been a lie. That might have been a fake. That might be fake news. But is he still a white belt? If so, I think he's the greatest white belt of all time.
Let's discuss. There is a photo circulating, though,
I'm on public
that
record.
shows of him not knowing how to tie his white belt. So the jury's looking pretty thin on that. But Kev, I'm sorry, as you were saying?
Sincerely and respectfully, fuck you. He's not a white belt. He's a world-class wrestler and clearly a submission artist of a high caliber.
I'm just saying, I've seen the guy in a white belt. I've seen him in the gi. I mean, his professor decides what belt he is, not me.
It's gonna have to be.
I'm not the guy to get mad at.
A 90-pound weight attached to it. Not you. That was in general to the idea that he's a white belt. It's just like, what are you talking about? He competes in mixed martial arts at the highest possible level and submits people. Like, no way he puts the gi
Matt
on.
Hume. Maybe Matt Hume isn't impressed with his gi chokes. Maybe he has a weak Ezekiel.
He's getting tapped by Becky, the shopkeeper, another two. It's like
he doesn't get how to break grips.
Oh, Demetrius?
Those pant grips. Maybe pant grips are a big problem for him.
Oh, he's a fighter? I didn't know that. That's impressive.
Okay, James, you brought up something, and I need to impress upon this because, Kev, we're going to steal this idea and make it our own.
Awesome.
Okay. He said that he doesn't decide what belt he is. But what if we did American Idol style and actually brought out people and voted as America would say to figure out what belt people were?
Finally. So a reality show I can get behind. Like a panel of 3 people. It's like Marcelo Garcia. Who's somebody older that could be nice and curmudgeon-y? Because he's like a good medium age.
Let's just say I think Drysdale is pretty good at being a Simon Cowell.
There we go. And for
so you've got Marcelo being Paula.
You could get a British person
have
in there if you.
Then you're gonna have Judge Judy because I feel like that's what she does. She doesn't care if she knows the subject or not, and she gets great ratings. So done.
Are they just doing like off past performances, or are they basically doing like a belt test for these people?
No, I like they have to roll with like, and today's special guest, Andre Galvão.
Oh yeah.
And he brought 3 students, right? Maybe.
Yep,
I'm just pitching.
Yep.
I'm just pitching
no.
here.
There are no bad ideas in the pitch room. So what I want to say is you know what they should do, Kevin? They should have the belt in hand and do that thing that professors do when they're kind of like, I don't know.
Looking at you from across the room, not making eye contact with you. Also, looking a little like something's in there, but you can't quite tell. Yeah, this is early morning Christmas for the jiu-jitsu nerds. I didn't see the fight, but Demetrius Johnson gets the highlight reel of highlight reels. Right? They're going to play this on everything for a while.
For sure.
Yeah. So Dana wasn't happy about that, but Dana White reluctantly backstage said, yeah, I guess he's the fucking best of all time. Whatever the fuck. I fucking hate him. This was also the first time that Demetrius Johnson was given pay-per-view points. So congratulations to him. He still didn't make more than Tony Ferguson, but let's talk about this for a second. James, have you ever had staff the way that Kevin Lee had staff?
No, I've never had staff. I've had ringworm a couple times, very annoying, but never had staff.
Can you?
We knew right away. We were looking at it. We were like, "What the fuck is on his chest?"
I want to because Kevin didn't see it, so I need you to describe, in your perspective, what it looked like, and I'll tell you what it looked like to me.
I thought it was like I don't know. It was like a nipple without the nipple. It was like, what is this big puffy thing on this guy's chest? It was like a big spider bite. It was nasty.
Kevin, he was almost growing his own Quado. And for those of you who don't know what a Quado is, that's essentially from Total Recall. It was just in that phase where the face hasn't emerged yet, but it's gonna, and you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to show up in a few minutes. So it was a little gross. But the doctors said, at least the
UFC doctors.
The people from the Nevada Athletic State Commission said that they allowed it to go. And my favorite headline of the weekend, and there were many, was them saying the Nevada Athletic State Commission was standing behind their assessment of letting Kevin Lee fight. Now let's talk about this. There was one submission that happened with Demetrius, but then there was also the Tony Ferguson submission. Now, Brandon McCatherine has very famously put up the description of the triangle, like he was feeding the wrong arm. Can you describe that for us, Jams?
I'd have to honestly go back and watch. I I thought there was the armbar that he almost hit, and then from there, I don't remember, what did he do with the triangle? Was it not just a regular push-pull triangle?
Yeah, it was apparently the word on the street was that he was doing it the wrong way.
It was the face in my face disgusting a joke. There's nothing worse than if you have something on your chin, which I didn't know until this moment, than someone putting you in a triangle choke.
I mean, it does change things because you have to look at somebody and go like, ooh, keep away. Like, no amount of rubber guard may be able to defend that. But no, Brandon McCatherine did put out a video trying to say he passed the arm to the wrong side.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know why he did that. But, I teach I know what you're talking about now. So instead of putting the arm on the side where the arm is going to go against the carotid artery, he put it on the other side so that he could wrap the arm around him, and it leaves open space in the neck. But if you have a guy in a triangle, even if his arm's wrapped around, if you grab the back of the head with both hands and you start to pull into the thigh that you have on his neck, and you start to like push your thigh forward, like I get the tap there 100% of the time.
Interesting. Thank you very much
Just
for those.
pulling that head into the thigh, boom. And that's what Tony did. Tony just grabbed the back of his head and bullied him.
I'm going to go ahead and send those statistics to our math team, and they will be CompuScoring 100% of the time. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
All I had to do was grab Gordon's head, and 100% of the time I would have finished that triangle. It is what it is.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Now, when that happens, here's where it gets weird. First of all, Tony Ferguson, who I want to get behind. I am behind. But sometimes he makes it a little hard. For example, over the week, he hit a stone cold stunner on our good friend, Jeremiah Vance, who's the shit.
It's beautiful.
It was okay. It was not the best stunner, if I'm being honest, because I think it's important to really discuss technique. Now, I also was a little displeased with Jeremiah's sell, but I told him we'll discuss it a little bit later, and he agreed. Here's my issue, though. When he gets on the microphone, and I feel like Tony Ferguson, the same Tony Ferguson that we all laughed and said, I will ankle pick you, which hilarious. Then started calling Conor McGregor McNugget, which, Kevin, on our scale of trash talk, where does that fall for you?
On a line stole from Superbad, a great comedy about the sexual coming age of youth. Not fantastic in 2017's, like, it's just McNugget is sort of I think it's a little weak, but I like the attempt.
I think that's the idea behind it. So you know that Tony feels like he has to sell the next fight, and so he keeps saying these statements that have that kind of like bully who thinks that they like did a really good one-liner, and the rest of their crew is just kind of like, oh, I mean, it was okay.
This time I won't have chin herpes. See you there.
Now, on the other side, you had Khabib, who actually sent a very classy note over to Tony Ferguson congratulating him, and then he put a hashtag December. However, Dana was saying that now the only thing that makes sense is for us to unify the interim title, which was just made for bullshit reasons for one episode of a UFC. So why the fuck did we do an interim title if we're going to unify it in 2 months?
The UFC loves it. They love interim titles. Hey, hold on. Jams, would you like
I'm just saying.
Would you like an interim title?
I think it has more to do with Conor. I think Conor's like, if I'm going to fight this kid, give him a fucking belt. Like, he's a nobody. Give him a belt, and then I'll fight him.
Oh, interesting.
I know Tony. I'm a huge Tony fan, but I think his stock, he needed a belt before Conor would fight him. That's the way I look at it.
Time out. You don't think Conor's trying to become the starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings this week? He's crossing
I have no idea.
You heard they were looking for a slot back
but
for third downs. He's like, I'm quick. Why the fuck not?
I want a quick timeout. Everybody here, Kevin is speaking as if he has some sort of acumen at knowing things in football. His fantasy football league record determined that to be a lie.
This has nothing to do with what was, quite frankly, a momentum-building pun, I thought. And here you go. And you just sweep me back into the dust rugs. As though the 8 inches of snow weren't enough to wake up to. It's gotten cold on the podcast also. Next fight. I don't know.
No, but here's why I want to stick on this. Because Dana White was saying, for sure now, the move that's going to happen is we are going to unify the titles. My issue, though, is I'll believe it when I hear it from the source.
Yeah.
Well, you also, Raph, have to admit, you don't love interim titles, especially with the, how do we say, medium amount of seriousness the UFC has treated it with.
I want to bring this up, which is very simple. If you're Demetrius Johnson, you're looking at that interim title and being like, fuck you, bigger guys. But Demetrius now has gotten to this point where I think he understands, my disrespect is actually my new career. And I think he's running with it. And I think he's enjoying the fact that you get people like Joe Rogan who get to call you the greatest of all time. So that's a really good thing to have on air. So he does have that going for him. Tony Ferguson has worked incredibly hard. Some awkward promos aside and somewhat bitchiness, which I would chalk up to some weight cut. I mean, he's an excellent fighter. Excellent fighter. Him and Conor makes sense. And it does sound like something we would get ready to see. I think we're excited to see. However, I know Dana has proclaimed things with Conor in the past that they're going to happen, and then they don't. So I'm waiting to hear Conor say it himself, which is the most roundabout of ways I think an organization can work. Because if James is correct, and Conor was the one that looked at Dana and goes, give him a title, and then I'll fight him, then I think we're in for something hilarious.
That's what I hope happened. That's the one I want.
Honestly, if you think about it, I think that's exactly how it went down. Because not only did they say, okay, we're not going to try to make Demetrius Johnson the greatest fighter of all time the focus of this, which should have been the main story. What they did instead was hey, we're setting up the Conor fight. So Tony's the main event, not even a real title fight, but this interim title. So Tony's the main event. Honestly, that's complete bullshit unless they're setting up the title for him to fight Conor. That's the only reason I'd have them as the main event instead of Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest of all time,
Can I pose this here? First of all, I love that caveat.
Yeah.
Second,
I'm in on his theories, by the way, Raph. We got to bring him in on our next true crime MMA podcast.
Of course. My issue here. Relax there. Let's go real basic on this, which is I want to go ahead and present to you guys the fact that I know I say this consistently, but everything is wrestling. The way that we say we're going to put a title on this guy reeks of Vince McMahon. So when you guys act holier than thou that the WWE does not have influence on our beloved sport of MMA, you are only kidding yourselves.
Oh my God.
Kev,
the indignant wrestling fan, is my new favorite character of yours. The person.
Hold on, I gotta really hold on. I can't just be this. I have to come up with a voice.
This is great. Not only to try and rub it to be so when you shame us and our millions of viewers every Monday night.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see what I got for you, Kev. I'll give you the character that you want. I feel he's got to be, James, give me some character development. What it would be a good set of traits for this character to have?
Colorado, so doesn't shower often.
First of all, I'm in Colorado. He's in LA.
But I'm embodying a character that is Kevin is calling, I'm sorry, the indignant pro wrestling fan.
You've already started. You said the next time you guys talk smack and you went into a defensive tone about your sport, about it not being real, which is the only thing we're indignant about.
It's not even that, Kevin. I want you to understand that the fact that I'm not the one saying it, it's James and you agreeing with him in the fact that we're putting titles on people and screwing people out of the top spot, which is what happens weekly on a soap opera. So all I'm doing is pointing out the very clear things that happen. It's called a pattern, Kevin. Now, I know you were the person that put the triangle into the square when you were a child, but I feel like this is an important there.
And I told you that in confidence, first of all. Second of all, I believe you that the WWE is a forward-thinking model. I still would just like to point out, is it theater, is it not? It's definitely somewhere in between.
I would like to say, Kevin, that it is unfathomable that you would make any of these accusations. I guess I'm doing a comic book guy is what it is, but it's not too far off.
Yeah. Well, glasses, slightly overweight, stays at home with his mom.
I like that.
I was about to say 2 out of 3 so far.
Right before Halloween, if you want to really impress Verbal Tap fans, embody Raph's new character, do the voice.
Everybody, I would like it if you could please not refer to me as the indignant pro wrestling fan. That would be great. All right, let's get back to business. All right, Kevin. Now, I know we talked a little bit about Dana White, and I actually want to say one more thing before we transition here, because this is important. But Kevin Lee talked a lot of shit about Daniel Cormier having the Cormier cry face. James, what happened when Kevin Lee lost?
Well, like, immediately whenever he lost, my friend was like, I bet that bitch is crying. I bet he's crying. And they zoomed to him, and he was crying. And my friend's like, I knew it. He's crying. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, that happens. It happens.
It does projecting. This is a good lesson for everyone, really.
It does. But it is a good reminder that, like, the internet is undefeated when it comes to remembering when you talk shit. So... You know, I mean, I get it. It's fun. Everybody has a fun time. But the hardest part about heartbreaking losses is you do kind of make things worse for yourself when you then have your loss like that. So, anyway, there we have it.
Yeah, lose behind closed doors like that. Like, whenever you lose, yeah, it's hard. But, like, right then, you know, suck it up. And, you know, in my... not my own words, somebody else's words. Act like you've been there before. Whenever you win and when you lose, and then whenever you want to break down, you do that somewhere else where all your fans aren't looking at you.
I feel like the first person who told me act like you've been there before was just telling me to like get comfortable. Like, hey, Raph, relax, take off your shoes, put on some sweatpants, you're good. And I was like, oh, is that not what we mean? Because okay, we just take it very different places. Kevin.
In all places in life, act like you've been there before.
Now, Kevin, here's where I think we need to zero in on some focus, which is this. Did you hear what Dana White was thinking over the weekend? He was a little upset at something.
No.
Okay.
I was moving.
Do you know what happened here, our good friend, James?
No, I don't listen to old bald men.
All right. What a weird thing to discriminate on. Old bald men. Jesus.
Yeah, I stay away from old bald men.
All right. Let's get to this then. I'll explain it to you guys. Here's the scenario. Dana White has a tragedy happen in Las Vegas. Everybody hates that this happened, but it happened. And so the UFC wanted to do the right thing by getting behind their community and getting people there. So they invited 1,500 first responders and survivors from the Mandalay Bay shootings. And so there's a groundswell of a week after that event, the UFC is going to put this event together. And it was a little uneasy for Press Row, but they went on and they trudged on. And it was a little uneasy for the fighters, but they went on and they trudged on. And you got to imagine it was uneasy for the fans who probably were worried about security measures. But everything was going great, Kev. Now, you may have noticed that Everlast, the singer, did a performance of, I believe, America the Beautiful, right?
Is that a different take?
Yeah.
Or is that America the Beautiful you just are thinking it? Because if it was I Believe America the Beautiful and they comboed it with Beavers, I'm in.
It's definitely going to be I Believe I Can Fly, but also America the Beautiful, just in one giant smash hit. It's really uplifting. You got to hear it.
You won't believe it if we do it. You just have to see it live. You have to
But
trust
what you have
us.
to do is you have to hit the woo at every part of it. So it's the secret to the R. Kelly singing, which, all right, let's keep going here. So the scene's beautiful. Everlast sings and everybody's super happy, except for one thing, Kevin.
What?
Dana White tells TMZ Sports, hey, fuck Jason Aldean. Now, you ask yourself, why would he say fuck Jason Aldean? Well, Jason Aldean had a really fucking rough week, if we're being honest. And unfortunately had to sit through a series of things that happened at a concert that I'm sure he's feeling some self-grief over. So Dana White and the people from the UFC were reaching out to Aldean and his people to come perform the national anthem at the UFC. Now, clearly, you got Everlast singing America the Beautiful, a.k.a. I Believe I Can Fly, remix edition. So, okay, something happened here, Kev. Do you know what the story is? No, wait, I'll tell you.
This is exquisite, though, by the way. I can't believe we waited till the 34-minute marker of this to get here. This is unbelievable.
This is the heavy part. Now, we get to the part where Dana White...
This is crazy. This
Dana
is an
White
insane person getting in a fight.
In touch with Aldean's people, okay? And they say that Aldean is still emotionally rocked from the entire events, which understandable because guess what? That shit would shake any of us up, except for one thing. That night, Jason Aldean appeared on Saturday Night Live.
Ooh.
Now, the UFC on Pacific time is going to end at 10 p.m. Now, and I'm sure this would get back to him either way or not, East Coast or not, now they're doing their live tapings, which says that the UFC is still going on while SNL premieres at 8:30 Pacific time. An hour and a half before the event is fully over, we see at the top of SNL, Jason Aldean at the cold open of SNL singing Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down. Now, Dana White goes ballistic, Kevin. So we have this beautiful moment that's set up at the UFC with Everlast singing America the Beautiful. We have Jason Aldean to basically critical acclaim, everybody saying, wow, that's amazing that he got the opportunity to open SNL, except for one guy. That one guy's name is Dana White, who then goes off and is like, what the fuck? This is some fucking bullshit. Fuck you, Jason Aldean. Don't you ever come back to fucking Vegas. Now, literally said those words, maybe adjusted a couple, but yes, said stay the fuck out of Vegas. To the guy who, by the way, was shot at the previous week before, is now thinking it's a good time to threaten him. Because that sounds like a threat. So Dana took this beautiful moment that he put together for 1,500 first responders and survivors, and then just fucking pissed it all away. That, my friends, is the story of what happened. Now, Kev, ask me if it gets better.
How could it get better? Does it get better?
It does get better. I mean, gets worse in the sense that Dana didn't get what he wanted. However, it gets better in the sense that Dana doesn't stop there. Perfect. He gets even more pissed, not just at Aldean, but at the entire genre of country music. Now, guys, I've said this on the show before. I'm not a big fan of country music, but I think last week we were all country music fans. Okay?
Because you know what you are a big fan of? Going to concerts, which is awesome.
I love going to concerts.
Hold on. I'm still trying to wrap my head around
the Aldean thing?
So it's not like Jason Aldean was like, yes, I'll do it, but hold on. And then he was just like, hey, he's still a little emotionally shaken because he didn't go on and sing the national anthem, by the way, to get a UFC card featuring Ferguson and Kevin Lee, which, as James pointed out, fine. Is booked on SNL. picks a fight with him. Unbelievable.
Now, Kevin, here's where we
Don't
start to get a
trust
little
old Baldwin. I'm just saying.
little questionable
Sam's
because
called
why would he do that? Now, Dana White's blaming his people, but then doubles down on the like, fuck you, Jason Aldean, which, okay, that's what Dana does. But it's weird in the sense that, well, let's consider the evidence. Maybe Aldean figured he could say his message and he could have time to say a few words, and he would have a huge audience in the SNL side. He would have more than 10 million people watching, being able to understand his message of unity and hope, except from Dana White, who's like, fuck unity now. So now, when I say it gets better, Kevin, it's because when Dana wages a war, he said that he reached out to every possible country music artist he could possibly think of, which I don't know how many he knows. But they said they reached out to a number of country music artists and then said, these people don't even fucking care about their own kind. They won't come here and sing for me, and I don't fucking get it. And you know what, Kevin? With a response like that and telling someone to stay the fuck out of Vegas, I wonder why they couldn't book someone from the country music side to come perform for them. It's crazy.
I also have first-hand, second-hand knowledge of the UFC press corps, and that sounds exactly like how they treat people from time to time.
Now, I heard a question in the background. Yes, James.
Yeah, where do they film SNL?
They film it in New York. So
Yeah,
when I say it's happening,
New York is pretty far away from Vegas. I figure all of them want to stay the fuck out of Vegas. It's pretty dangerous over there right now.
you would say that, but guess what? Aldean didn't take Dana's advice because just this afternoon he arrived in Vegas to go visit with some of the survivors and to go back to the area to I guess bond and pay his respects. And I don't know exactly what you do in those moments because
like
it's confusing.
Jason
But he
Aldean
went
also
there.
doesn't listen to old bald men. So
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
So
Did
anyway,
Dana go out there and kick his ass?
I'm gonna guess not.
Hey, you know, that's how it goes.
But
He
I will
arrives
say
in his
this.
Lamborghini. Where's Aldean? Point him to me. It's like, who are
Where
you?
the fuck is Aldean? Bring him to me. We're not even the same fucking weight class, but I'm gonna fucking make him fucking feel my fucking face. So, I guess what I want to say to you guys is this. This is UFC PR 101 of how to ruin a beautiful moment. Because I think everybody agreed the SNL thing was handled very well. The UFC thing was handled very well. And then we found out what happened behind the scenes. And it wasn't like Dana picked any outlet to go to. He went to TMZ Sports, which is basically like saying, you go tell them, fuck that guy, to his wide audience. So that is the story I have for you.
He does that when Fox won't carry it. Fox News is always in the Dana corner when they're like, that's too crazy. You know, that's when they're like, have you called TMZ? They'll put that on air. They'll put anything on air.
I did go through this reaction. At first I said, I can't believe Dana's saying this. And then I go, actually I can. And again, let's be very clear. Bringing in 1,500 people to a UFC event, super cool. I think that's amazing. That's the type of thing you hope the UFC does, because Dana White famously said
Vegas.
This week, he was saying, he's like, don't give to GoFundMes. He was telling people, the UFC donated $1 million. All super great and positive things. And then he does this. So, ugh. That's my story. All right. Anything else to discuss?
No, I don't have anything. Sorry. I'm stunned by that. This could be bad for him as in he doesn't own the UFC anymore, and the crazier he gets, sometimes it's like, well, we replaced, who was that guy? Goldfinger? No? Don't care. We replaced him.
God.
So.
I don't know, Kev. I mean, I think we've just gotten so used to Dana White that we just kind of go, I mean, like today, Harvey Weinstein got busted for a whole bunch of fucking sexual shit. And I feel like Dana's like, hey, thanks, buddy. I really needed that one. So there's that. James, I noticed that you're a little quiet now. how are you processing all this information? I know it's new to you because
Yeah,
you
I had
admitted
no
to
idea. I'm trying to find ways to make fun of Dana White later to my friends.
Oh, you'll have plenty of reasons. Dana never stops giving us
Yeah.
reason to make fun of him. But this was a
That's
particularly
insane.
bad episode that I think we're gonna. It's a tough bummer. I guess is what to
I
say.
want to see his
But
approval ratings. I want to see the Dana White fighters only approval
definitely
ratings.
still higher than Trump's. If I'm
Because
being
so
honest.
far, Jam seems like a better candidate. I don't know. He's done this a few times, right?
Yeah, I feel like he should at least know, get mad behind closed doors. Like, why are you bringing this to surface at all?
'Cause he was hurt.
Jason Aldean dissed you. Let it go. Let it go.
I guess it's just
He
a
doesn't
weird
care
thing to
about
really
you.
put it out. It's a weird thing to put it out there. Like, people are going to take not Jason Aldean's side this week.
Yeah, he got shot at. Like, anything he does for the next year is okay. Like,
And-
now Dana just looks like a little girl.
And the dumbest part about it is to go up against the whole realm of country music. Like, I make jokes
Yeah.
about country music a lot, but to make them not happy with you in a very aggressive manner and put them all on blast like they're not willing to represent their country. If you know a few things about country music, it's that they don't take kindly to being
Yeah.
told they're not super American. So
I agree.
Yikes.
I'm a huge fan of, what is it, Taylor Swift? Yeah.
Mhm.
She's my favorite country singer. I think she's the best.
He's just trying to be inflammatory now.
You're a terrible human being.
We all know she announced she's a pop artist now. But
Yep.
I get
Yep.
it. There's crossover
Yeah,
appeal,
yeah.
especially her older stuff. Teardrops on My Guitar. We've gone slightly off the rails. But that's it. Jams is done. Let's end the podcast and get out of here.
I don't think he's done, Kev. I think he's hanging around, and I like having him around. I
No.
love talking fights with him.
All set.
I think that's so much fun. But there's something else. Like, I feel like what were we supposed to do, James? What else? I feel like there was something else we were supposed to do.
I think, it's not surprising, but I'm pretty sure a purple belt lost to another brown belt. It happens. It happens. I think Kevin is supposed to talk to us about his favorite belt, the belt.
Oh, God.
Okay. Now, first of all, you're leading, okay? And I don't feel that that's a good thing to do. We haven't revealed the results, and I'm tabulating them as we speak. I just want to make sure I've got my Westing Price Powerhouse firm, and they are confirming the results. Kevin, do you have anything to say before we reveal the results?
This feels rigged.
Rigged?
No.
Has the FBI been?
You like all those draws I got called in? Yeah.
I could have used a few less of those. Maybe a few more that came in on my side.
There was actually one fight where I was losing, and all of a sudden it got called a draw. I was so happy.
Fuck's sake.
And
like
we
5
should
draws.
note there were 2 draws on this one, which I don't think has happened before, and I'm not going to look it up because it's too boring of a statistic. All right, Kevin, you said your piece. Do you have any further trash talk that you'd like to say before we reveal the result?
No, I think in victory or defeat, Raph, I want to be super clear on my record. I think it's important to, stay respectful at all times. That's usually...
Is it important to act like you've been there?
Exactly. Yeah. You want to have
okay.
a real constitution about you.
Excellent. And James, do you have any final words before we go?
Nope, I'm all ears.
All right, let's. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the winner of this installment of Over Under Kevin is none other than. Now, kids, let's call the call back. All right. James, you won. And it's a little sad for this following reason. Like, I usually take a lot of glee out of Kevin's losses. But this one's sad for the mere fact that this had so many disruptions to the card. First of all, Derek Lewis out. And he gave up the McRib, guys, which was devastating to me. Then William Reese, or who the fuck stepped in to go fight Fabricio Verdun. Walt Harris, thank you. Yeah. Walt Harris shows up to go ahead and give a scrimmage to Fabricio Verdun is essentially what happened. I don't think I've seen Fabricio get happier that he made super quick money with a really easy armbar that it looked like.
Yeah.
Okay?
He was smiling during the submission. It was insane.
Yeah, and I mean, he does that weird Joker face to begin with, but whatever. So the reason why it's hard for me to get excited about this, just in terms of gleefulness for Kevin, is, there was like all these fights that changed. Nick Lentz went out for some medical reasons, and then, some fights got canceled, and then to really, really fuck with UFC over under Kevin Fate, there were 2 draws. So, I mean, you lost, and there's not any getting around it.
On the world's weirdest card, it was like 3-2. What was the score?
You lost by 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 7-5. So,
I'm just saying, we weren't. I was on a Patriots-like run. And I'm unlike them. I'm not on that type of decline yet. This was very close. This was like losing to the Chiefs.
I'd like to go ahead and point out again, it sounds like Kevin is asserting football knowledge, which we cannot, and I emphasize this greatly, we cannot say he has any. And it would feel better if he had some UFC knowledge or mixed martial arts knowledge, but we have proven otherwise as well. Now, James, what do you have to say to your opponent? You have been famous for saying, act like you've been there before. Are you going to take the classy route, or are you going to take the Tony Ferguson route? That is my thing to you, sir.
I think, Kevin, I think you did a good job. Nobody's surprised again. It's not your fault. It's the color of your belt,
Wow.
These things happen.
Wow. Well, that's deep. Okay. Kevin, your response?
Yeah, for the things I'm going to say about black belts, for the things I have to say about every other belt except brown, I apologize. This loss hits home. I was depending on Dunham to not be a Dariush. I thought Pearl had something deep that we were going to go places. And where is Lewis helping me out with some things? There's some people I need to talk to. Latest, I put my faith in you. Where you at, man? I'm okay, right?
Well, James, do you have, and where are you going? Why are you creating all of the sound effects that come on a soundboard?
Sorry, so I had to go pick up my wife. We just got home, so I had to let the dogs out and let them in the backyard. So I let the dogs out.
Wow. We finally answered that question after 15 years of not getting anywhere.
Maybe the reason they didn't answer it in the song is for copyright infringement. They didn't want to step on Michael Jackson.
I need to really stay back here on this and wonder, how is he the funny one? I know we started off with this. And I
try to dumb it down. I try to dumb it down on here.
Don't you dare insult our audience, which may or may not be offended by your racism. Tokyo, we love you. All right. James, what advice do you have to Kevin going forward? Because, again, like any good competitor, you should give advice to somebody Kevin's in, week out, and he loses a lot, and you broke his streak.
When bested.
Which, the thing is, you break the streak, you might have actually broke him. So... What's your advice,
Kevin?
Jim?
I got advice for you. You know this, as you did steal my pick of Demetrius Johnson. Cheat more. If you start stealing more picks, have your guests give their picks first. That way you can pick
I'm in
their
charge
picks.
Of that. I don't do that. That's not going to happen. But good theory.
Well, if you can't cheat more, I have nothing for you, Kevin.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Time in, it helps. Pay your dues. Lose often.
Wow, that's the I will say
some of this advice has started to suck, ref, but I get where he's going. I like
in the 60-ish times that we've done over under Kevin, this might have been the lose often Kevin. I think that might have been the harshest one I've heard.
Yeah, if you keep losing, eventually you'll get used to it.
I'm not responding. I'm done with this interview.
That's fair. Well, listen to this. James, you're looking to go ahead and compete over with us at the beautiful Anaheim, which unfortunately, I must say this real quick. I know it seems like we have bad news all the time in the news. Anaheim, I hope you guys are okay. There's a whole bunch of ash out there right now. It's terrible. Some fires are happening, so I hope everybody is safe if you are hearing this out there. Yeah, there's no good day to look at the news, my friend. It's mostly a lot of what's that?
It just keeps coming in, and then we forget about the last thing, and it keeps coming in, and you forget about the last thing before that. It's crazy.
Which is why the unfortunate part of our benefit is knowing there's one consistent that we can always depend on, which is Dana White being batshit crazy no matter what the circumstances. God bless you, Dana White. Thank you for letting us have a moment of just laughing in a very tense time in all of our lives. So we appreciate that. All right, James. So you're looking to compete there. Where can people reach out to you if you're looking for what? Privates, seminars, if they want to donate to you making it on out to California, because it's expensive. And Anaheim is in the Orange County area, otherwise known as OC, which is pretty benny. So where can people get a hold of you for all that stuff, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Raph. Again, thank you to everybody that has already donated. And if you do want to donate, just message me on Facebook. Facebook has this cool thing that I learned about just recently from getting these donations. You can just send me money through the messenger. It's a pretty cool little link. So just hit me up. It's James without the E. So James A-M-S. And then Partridge, it's P-A-R-T-R-I-D-G-E. Thank you, guys.
I feel at the very end of that, Kev, it sounded like he was giving a speech.
Yeah, for sure.
Like an informative speech. But it's just like, and by the way, that is how you make tacos.
I had to say a speech for I was a 5th grade president at my school or something, and I didn't know how to end it, and I thought it would be cool to just say peace out. So I did it, and then I won. My teacher was not happy, but I said it and I won, and it was great.
First of all, I want to go back and see the campaign ads that you were running, and then the campaigns ads that were running against you in 5th grade. And second of all, I actually, no lie, I have won tournaments in speech by yelling out, Pisha, A-Town, and I would leave, and I won. So nice. I felt very, very proud of that. So I understand.
It works. It works.
You know, if you sell it and you act like you've been there before, you just kind of win. Unless you're Kevin, which, again, rude to say.
Yeah.
I know.
He'll get Kevin, used to losing. It's okay.
All right. Kevin, do you have any departing words for James?
No.
Okay. Well, James, here's what I'm going to tell you. You're a delight. I'm so glad that you are exactly as advertised. You're a lot of fun to talk to. We've been fans of your work, and so we, more than anything on the show, we like athletes to have opportunities. So we always want to see those people that we see grinding and teaching and being such a resource for others, getting their shots to come on out here and compete. So we very much look forward to seeing you out here in December. And know that if I'm coaching against you, it's because I have to. And so that's about it. Other than that, I kind of wish you well.
Thank you. And if you're coaching against me, I hope your teammate knows it's to help me cheat. So I really appreciate all your guys' help. And I hope to see you out there soon.
I think.
And I hope to see you in I hope to see you up in Colorado too, Kevin. I'll give you some pointers up there.
Boom. I'll take those pointers.
That was really sweet at the end. Kev, you really brought it home. Right? Well, you know what? I think there's no better way to end the interview than right there. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on, wait. I didn't prep this one, so hold on.
You gotta hit that.
You gotta wait for it. There we go. Sorry. I can't play anymore, otherwise we have to pay for the fucking song. So, ladies and gentlemen, James Partridge.
Wrath finally broken. And I think it's, I'm just feeling really good about how I've been able to keep my head high about this. It's
no different than the normal way you react I think Tuesday is when ESPN has its finalized fantasy football rankings.
Fuck's sake, this is the worst.
It's not the worst. Your record is the worst. My record is not bad. I want to see. Let me go make sure I won tonight.
What I don't like is the historical comparisons that this invites. It hasn't been going well.
What? No.
It hasn't been going well.
Kevin, history has a way of repeating itself if you're just dumb enough not to learn from it. And, that's kind of... And I won. Oh, okay, no big deal. It's fine. Good for me.
No, okay. Fuck.
Okay. But let me point out something here. I feel like I should stay on this, but okay. We have a couple quick roundabout things that we need to address. One,
I don't
Rashad Evans
talk about football. Oh,
Rashad Evans says that Demi Lovato is rolling like she's training for a fight.
I think she is.
I hope so, man.
The way she's got the eye of the tiger, and the girl knows what it takes to be a star.
Now,
ADCC 2019 sleeper.
This is something that is interesting. Felipe Pena says that he's still waiting for Gordon Ryan to accept his gi challenge.
We're all waiting, Felipe. But
Absolutely.
Everyone knows, Gordon's a very fragile, delicate peach of a fighter. So, give him time.
Now, Kevin, this is the one I've been waiting all week to tell you.
Hair color-wise, is a peach. Yeah.
But Carlos Condit has booked a fight again.
What? This is outstanding. This is the second most upset I've been about you not telling me something earlier on this podcast.
I mean, I put it on the Facebook page, so
I was moving. I have not been.
Kevin's favorite excuse to use for the next 2 years is going to be, I was moving.
It was so cold that first night. It's like 6 months later.
Okay, now, I understand you have a celebratory sort of thing about you. A vibe, je de vivre is what the French people, I think, say. But do you want to know who he's fighting?
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay. What if I were to say we are like 1 degree of Kevin Bacon away from this fighter? Like we know one person in between this guy. You might say that we were supposed to train with him, but we trained with somebody else the last time I visited in the Colorados.
Is he maybe fighting Neil Magny?
He is fighting at UFC 219 against Neil Magny, who is besties with our bestie, Drew Dober.
We see Neil Magny when we went to the tournament that day. That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be an awesome fight.
This is a great fight.
That's fantastic news.
Here's some sad news, Kevin. It appears, though, that Carlos Condit, in his time off, because he hasn't been an active fighter, he's been taking some odd-end jobs.
What does that mean?
I think he's been working some civilian jobs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's kind of this press. I don't know how much to take stock in it, or if it's supposed to be one of those, like, grab yourselves by the bootstraps and go do that thing. But I thought I read somewhere orthodontist or something like that he was helping out with. But it is a true blessing that we get Carlos Condit back, because, Carlos Condit has worked really hard in the UFC, and as a fighter, he deserves better than this. So I, for one, am glad he's back. We had gotten so worried that he was going to be done, but it looks like we get him at least for one more fight, Kevin. Hopefully more.
Unbelievable news. I'm excited to see him fight. That's going to be awesome, especially Neil Magny. That's a fun matchup. Yeah, we've been out without Condit for a while. Good press recap, Raph. Way to bring a little bit of news to this thing that we're...
Because we got to surprise the audience, Kevin. You get to this part and you think, oh, we're going to name some people who I don't even know. Is it going to be fucking the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club again?
Consider yourselves rocked. Little round recap at the end. I like this. This is a good format for us. Start a little sketch and yell at each other about, I don't even remember, something about football throughout the thing. I don't.
It's consistently that you're losing is what we were talking about.
Losing and lost, one might say, if they were to pontificate about what happened, which I don't do. I'm not a pontificator. Typically, that's says the guy with the podcast that spends at least an hour and a half fucking pontificating to you people listening right now, which is insane.
Whoa,
it's time for some shout outs.
3?
What?
Damn, you're 1-3? You did win this week, though.
I'm starting slow.
Wow, you're 2-3 now. Good for
Fuego.
you.
Started Nelson Aguilar. It was genius. I need him to come up massive because Julio has Mississippi'd me. So,
all right, let's move on.
It's time for shout outs. That'll do it for us. I want to talk about Two Men in a Truck. Specifically, I want to talk about the job Zach and Andy did moving us, Raph. They took from the 4th floor. They had us out of the apartment in 2 hours, 37 minutes, into the house an hour and 29 minutes later. That's just fast work. It was a total of 4.5 hours right there in that neighborhood. Just crushed it. That is my shout out for the week. My girlfriend also did very well with the move, mostly because she talked me into hiring them.
Good for you. Good. Okay, well, let's start here. I want to thank all of you this week. You guys were very, very sweet in all of your tagging of the Walls of Jericho. And then, the spirit moved us. We made a little video. And myself and Joey House from the Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club put together a tutorial as a thank you that shows you guys how to not only use the Boston Crab in your MMA and grappling needs, but also I think taught you a lot about fighting. Kevin, did you learn from that video?
I would say I left that video thinking, God, as soon as I recover, I'm ready to get in the MMA cage. Fight people. That's just how I felt at the video, and I talked to only 38 other people that felt the same way. So I can't say for sure if that's how everybody felt.
There was also a great moment where I think you got to see a lot of people who at one point somebody was saying, it really bums me out that people aren't talking about how to use your core more. Because the guy, when he did the thumbs up, was really using your core. A lot of people, he goes, I use it on people with weak cores all the time. And I was like, whoa, he's there, buddy. Let's watch.
We don't need to be calling people out with their weak cores. Like, that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people.
Thank you.
I mean, as a weak cored individual.
But listen, preaching to the choir. But that's also a nice shout out to our good friend, Nate Harris. Nate Harris has a movement called Shirts Are a Jail Cell. He was supposed to be the official sponsor of ADCC, of the competitors who went ADCC style. However, we didn't have anybody who did that. So I was really excited to show you guys a T-shirt, but we can't. But if you guys want to find out more, you can follow Nasty Nate Harris on Instagram. He's very funny. He's very against shirts for some strange reason. And then, again, for another strange reason, he's selling shirts that say shirts are a jail cell. So, it has many layers to it. I haven't unraveled them all, but shout out to Nate.
Living a life around his abs.
And I want to go ahead and point this out because you have to give some credit to Joey. I never do, but I will give him this much credit. Joey was the one to be like, no rash guards. And I was like, and he goes, Raph, it's going to be more authentic for MMA. And I was like, you're right. He brought out 2 gloves. And when he brought out these gloves, I just thought to myself, This is the most gloriously stupid thing I've done in some time.
I
And I
like
do this
I
show.
like the step 2, hurt your opponent. But, so I like to imagine the typical commenter in those moments when they're like, "This isn't a real video at all."
7,000 people can't be wrong. And if you guys like it, give us a share on that one, because we also give a great shout out to our good friends at North South Jiu-Jitsu Underwear. So just keep a lookout for that sort of stuff. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like that, hit us up. We're obviously apt to doing them. We have fun, and we hope you guys do too. All right, let's go through the shout-outs. Let's go ahead and shout out Valley Martial Arts Center.
VMAC.
All right, there is a tournament happening on December 10th. It is for white belts and blue belts. I think the cost is pretty cheap. You guys can find out that information at valleymac.com. If you guys are also looking for a tournament out in the Marietta section of the world, aka near Temecula, you guys are going to want to go to my buddy Drew. Drew Maria is putting together a tournament out there at 10th Planet Maria. I thought I saw it was double elimination, which, by the way, go do if you're a white or a blue belt or you got kids. So they're having a nice little in-house tournament over that way, and it's November 4th on that one. So go find out more from that. You can find out more at the 10th Planet Marietta homepage. Also, you guys should be coming to train with us at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club. We got big things coming up. I'm very excited to announce this. It has been in the works for a little while, but it looks like we will be seeing Bushido Battleground on the El Rey Network, which you may see a familiar face, or two, or three. And we're very excited. It's a big project. It's showing all sorts of martial arts around the world, but there is going to be a little bit of implemented grappling. And we're very excited to announce that our good friends from the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club will be represented by none other than my uke, Joey House, who, by the way, Kevin, I think might be a better uke than you. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that part out.
Yeah, probably. I wish it wasn't the case, but
yeah,
I'm more of a realist.
Anyway, Joey has a really cool super fight. We'll be announcing who that is, I believe, probably next week. So if you guys want to go in and help him get ready for training, or you're looking to get ready for your own competitive training, hit us up at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club. We train every morning from 8 to 9 a.m. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff for No-Gi Worlds, and we're getting Joey ready for a super fight. So if you have aspirations to compete at No-Gi Worlds like our good friend Jams, a.k.a. James, hit us up. We're really excited to get you guys ready. And can't impress it enough. If you guys are around and want to go ahead and train with us, come on down. And let's see. I guess the last shout out is just going to be for my wonderful wife. We had a great time on a date night yesterday. We went to go see Janet Jackson. Now, I want to tell you something here real quick, Kev. This is great. First of all, Janet Jackson sings Scream with a duet with her brother, Michael Jackson, who obviously is dead. Sure. But they play it on the screen, and you see me going like, oh, shit, fuck. She's using all of her Jackson powers. But a lot of people wonder, and Kevin actually, I will say this is the best part. Kevin said the one thing he's got going for him this year is what in football?
For me?
Yeah. What's the one thing you've got going on in fantasy football?
Nelson Aguilar this week.
Kevin said this, where I go, well, at least you got your name this year. And he goes, yes. What is your name in fantasy football, Kevin?
My name is Standing with Janet's.
And that is for Janet Jackson?
Yes.
And what is that in regard to?
The nipple sexual assault we witnessed by Justin Timberlake, conveniently forgotten in the narrative.
Who's going to get a fucking invitation back.
Better.
To perform at the Super Bowl.
And
terrible.
It's got to be the back. Yeah, she's like...
But I'll tell
everybody
you,
wrap up your titties this year. Justin Timberlake
wrap up your
is going to be there.
That really should be his tour. Welcome to see Justin Timberlake's Wrap Up Your Titties, everybody. It's me, Justin Timberlake. Anyway, but here's where it's cool. There was a really cool moment where Janet Jackson brought out 30 years worth of dancers. And even if you can't get into her music or her or whatever, here's one of the reasons why I always rep her is because she's an amazing performer. But when she brought out 30 years of dancers, she literally beckoned them and was just like, yo, you guys want to come? And they all showed back up. And I was just like, damn, that's pretty impressive. I don't think I could assemble all of our guests, even if I tried. Half of them hate us now. So
we couldn't even get Jams back right now. He was on the podcast 7 minutes ago.
So anyway, I thought it was a really nice measure of seeing a very subtle thing, which is someone of prominence giving a starring opportunity to so many of their dancers throughout the years, and then all of them coming back and being like, oh, they crush Rhythm Nation, which, by the way, is one of the hardest routines in the world. So it was just a nice moment, and I thought it was something that I would share because I thought, how wonderful is it that you can see something like that I would have never expected. I was just like, oh, shit, they look like, are those old dancers? Oh, fuck. That's really cool. So maybe one day when Kevin and I are wrapping things up here at Verbal Tap, which is nowhere in the near future, so don't worry yourselves. But we'll grab all remaining 10 of the people who like us still and bring them on a show, Kevin.
Can't wait.
Speaking of which, 5 years is coming up very soon. So get ready for that. If you guys want to help us out, hashtag 5 years of Verbal Tap. That's the numerical 5 years of Verbal Tap. And we've got some surprises for you guys in store. So keep a lookout for that. And I think that's going to do it for me.
That'll do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap. I'm Kevin. Thank you for listening.
Good night and good fight.
At this time,